guys, so this is it. This is day 2 of your virtual lesson. Okay, so we're going to review. You're going to need this journal practice and workbook, and you're actually going to submit pictures, all 4 pictures of these pages, 7, 8, and 17 and 18. Are you crazy, Miss Hunsaker? I have to submit 4 pages? Yeah, you have to both. Yes, I'm crazy, and yes, you got to do all 4. The good news is, though, is that I'm going to do probably half of it with you, and so the rest of it is just, I'm going to kind of teach you and review, and can you figure out what I just said, okay? So let's go find pages 7 and 8, and then 17 and 18. We're going to start with page 7. All right, so if you really want to know why I'm so crazy, it's because this is the second time I had to make this video. The first one made my computer crash, and so I'm absolutely losing my mind. Do you remember the picture that I showed you of me upending the table? Yeah, that was me like 5 minutes ago. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do the starred problems with you. You're going to do the circled problems on your own, and then submit your work when you're done. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get going. There were a couple of you that had asked me about questions very similar to what numbers 1 and 2 say. Okay, that have this average rate of change on it. And so let's go talk about that, okay? So average rate of change, if you remember from Algebra 1 days, which you may not, you may or may not, but the average rate of change is the same thing as finding a slope, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find the slope. So I don't know if you remember the slope formula, but the slope formula said that you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? So let's go do that. So I'm going to do 15 minus 9 over 5 minus 3. Okay? Let's get the handy dandy calculator, right? Oh, I don't need a calculator for these. These are decent numbers, but listen, bonus points to the first person who asks me to remind you about calculators, because I got to ask you a question about this. So when you see me on Thursday or Friday in the Zoom meeting, make sure that you ask me about calculators, okay? Remind me I need to ask you a question. All right, so 15 minus 9 is 6. 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 divided by 2 makes 3. So the average rate of change between these 2 points is 3, okay? You're going to go do number 2 on your own. All right, let's go look at the graph below, okay? So this is showing the number of online active users, it looks like, for the social media platform Uspace. There used to be a MySpace. Anyway, but this is from Uspace. And so we're going to answer these questions down here. Again, I'm going to do the starred ones. You're going to do the circled ones. So number 3 says, what is the minimum value? Well, that's the value at the bottom, right? The lowest value. And so that looks like this point right here. When they're asking you what that minimum value is, they want the Y number. So they want this 2. They don't want the year. Okay, so this is going to be 2, but what does this mean? Up 2 million, looks like. Okay, so there were 2 million users. All right, number 4, what's the maximum value? So you can figure that out. Number 5, what are the intervals of increase? Now, this is why I'm doing this with you, because remember, increase in intervals, we're looking at the x values, right? When is it? And then increasing, when is it going up? So there's actually 2 of them, but this is what is really, really huge to know, okay? If between 2008 and 2010, because these are both increasing, if this was a nice smooth curve and it was going up, you could say that the interval was between 2008 and 2010, but it's not. These are 2 separated cases, and so you have to treat them separate. So one of your intervals is between 2008 and 2009, or we can just call it the year 2008 in this case. Look at that, I wrote it on the wrong line. Okay, so it's increasing in the year 2008, and then it's also increasing in this year, and so that is the year 2009. Okay, and then there are 3 separate spaces when it's decreasing, so make sure that you put all 3 of them. Okay. All right, then it says for number 7, what is the average rate of change from 2008 to 2010? So what is this rate of change that's going on between these 2 years, right? So again, rate of change formula, that's slope. So let's go do that. So I'm going to do 5.5 minus 2 over, this was the year 2010, minus the year 2008. Okay? And so 5.5 minus 2, I know is 3.5. 2010 minus 2008 is going to be 2 years. And then let's get our calculator and actually go type that in because I've been brain farting a lot. And it looks like 175. So this is 1.75 million. Okay? And since it was an increase, the average rate of change is a positive 1.75 million. Okay? All right, I want to show you what the back looks like just really quick. Okay? Numbers 9 and number 10, I just want you to try. Try. That's all that I ever ask. I just want you to read it and try it and see what you think. If you leave it totally blank, that's going to get a point off. So I definitely want you to try, okay? Number 11, you're definitely going to do. You're just finding the slope, okay? All right, let's go find page number 17. And so this is lesson 1.4, so basically 1.3 and 1.4. This is what we talked about in class on Monday and Tuesday, okay? If you have been struggling with the page in your book, which might be page 18 if I'm correct, if you've been struggling, hopefully you can listen to me now, and this will help a little bit, okay? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're just going to describe the transformations that are happening. And so here's our original function, and it got transformed to this. So we're just going to do one symbol, one number at a time, okay? So this negative, this means that it is a reflection. So it reflected because it's in front of the f of x. Remember that f of x is just another way to say y, right? If y is positive, so if you can imagine on a grid, if there's a point up here and y is positive, and I want to put a negative sign in front of that f or in front of that y, it's going to reflect over the x-axis. Okay, so it reflected over the x-axis. Then I'm going to keep going. This 2 in front of the x represents a horizontal, and it's a horizontal stretch or compression. But remember, with the horizontal ones, when we looked at them, it was x over b, right? Okay, and so you have to kind of think about this. If this is a 2, b is technically 1/2, because that would make the 1/2, right? You would make it invert and it would go up. So because it's a fraction, this is a horizontal compression by 1/2. Okay? So we did this one, we did this 2. Let's go take care of the minus 5. Minus 5 makes it go to the right 5 places. And then plus 3 is going to make it go up 3. And that's it. Let's do it again. Okay, number 2. So here's my original function. Let's start kind of walking our way through it, okay? So I see a 1/3 in front of the f of x, or in front of the f, so a 1/3 in front of the y. So this is going to be a vertical. It's either a stretch or a compression. Because this is a fraction, we call it a compression. Okay, and it's a vertical compression by 1/3. There's nothing inside my parentheses. I'm good. And so let's go take care of this. Minus 9 at the end tells me it went down 9. All right, let's do it again. I got g of x. Here's my f. And oh, it looks like in front of my x, I'm multiplying. So this is going to be another horizontal stretch or compression. And I'm not sure which one, if it's a horizontal stretch or a horizontal compression. So again, remember with this b, right? So we're going to have to take this fraction and we're going to have to invert it or reciprocate it. Reciprocate, I don't know that that's the right word, but we're going to get the reciprocal. How about that? So b is going to be 5/2. And since this number, which is 2.5, right? Since this is greater than 1, that makes it a horizontal stretch. And that's a horizontal stretch by 2.5. Or 5 halves if you want to call it that. And then there's nothing else going on, we're done. Okay? Numero cuatro, number 4. So as I work my way down, I don't see anything in front, nothing in front of the X, thank goodness. Oh, I've got this plus 8. So that means I'm going to the left 8 units. Minus 7 means I'm going down 7. Okay, that's how that works. This is what page, I believe it was 18, and this is what we did in our notes on Monday and Tuesday. So you're going to try 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own. I want to talk to you about number 9. You can skip number 11. I want to talk to you about number 9, so let's go look at that one. Okay. We have an original function that is y equals x squared, or f of x equals x squared. So let me just draw a quick little sketch, and it looks like this, right? Here's y equals x squared. Good enough, okay? So what I want to do for this one is actually state the domain and the range, okay? So x squared goes on forever. The domain is going to be all real numbers, but the range of x squared is always anything that is greater than or equal to 0, right? So remember, on your y-axis, the range are the y numbers, and so it was everything, you know, above the x-axis, so when y is greater than or equal to 0. So let's go look at these transformations and see what happened, and see what is going to change with our domain and range, okay? All right, so this -2 means that my function is going to be flipped upside down. The negative means it's upside down. The 2 means it's going to be a little bit skinnier, so I'm just kind of sketching it, getting an eyeball. The -8 means that I'm going to go to the right 8 places, so over here at 8, right? Here it is upside down, a little bit skinnier. And then my -3 means it's moving down 3 places. So I'm going to put a -3 in here, and here's my U shape now. Okay, it's upside down compared to this one. It's upside down, it's a little bit skinnier, it moved to the right, and it moved down. My domain and range are still going to be all real numbers. Okay, so domain and range are still all, domain is still all real numbers, but our range has changed. So this time on our y-axis, what y numbers are on this graph over here? And it looks like instead of being above, right, I'm now below, so I'm looking at negative numbers. And I'm looking at all the numbers that are less than or equal to -3, since this is the highest point on there. Okay? All right, so you're going to try number 10, and then on the back, page 18, same thing. I just want you to try 12 and 13. I will tell you number 12 is a lot easier than number 13 is, so just try them. And then number 14 and number 15 are going to be the same as the front. Okay? Do the best that you can. That's all that I ever ask. Your assignment will be on Canvas. And these pages, if you need them, the PDF will also be on your assignments. Toodaloo!